Hi, this is Dr. Brad Keesler here with Marshall. He is a rising junior at Harrison County High School in Cynthiana, Kentucky. Today we'll be having a lesson focusing on the key of D-flat major, covering some of the alternate positions and some of the intonation issues with this key signature. Hi, could we start with key of D-flat major scale? Sure. We're going to play it in half notes. We're going to do it in a round. You can start, and I'll come in 2 notes after you. All right, 2, ready, go. One of the things that's important when we do any key signature is that we establish good connection to the tonic note. Can you sing that note for me? And now find that note on your trombone. Great. So let's sing all the notes of the scale going up together. Ready? And then sing the arpeggio with me. Ready? Okay, let's take another run through of the scale and half notes together, focusing more on that intonation. Ready? Now, if you noticed, I played the F in alternate 6th position. Do you know maybe why I would have done that?
Because it would keep the half step between F and G flat.
That's correct. Between the 3rd and the 4th note of the scale, we're going to have a half step. And on the trombone slide, we want to try to keep those half steps together as often as possible. So rather than playing your F in 1st and having a big jump from 1st to 5th, it's going to be a lot easier if you can remember in this key signature especially to use that 6th position F. Can you try those first 4 notes for me, and especially that half step, keep them closer together. One more time, especially on F. How about match it up here for me? Good. Be sensitive to the intonation on that. Don't be afraid to move your slide and match the intonation. I'd like to look at this book for a moment. This is Dr. Brad Edwards' Trombone Craft, complete, all 3 volumes. On page 21, the Tech Builder, F in 6th, and raised 4th position. We're going to visit that page and do some tuning exercises there. Let's try this first line together here. Okay. Ready? I'd like you to try that line again on your own. We'll go back to tonal energy using the D-flat drone. Okay. That's okay. We need the next partial down to get to that D-flat. That's matching that tonic. Try it right here, starting on D-flat in this measure. Go ahead. that and be as consistent as you can. Okay? Let's apply some of this to Rochu Etude number 19, also in the key of D flat major. Could you play the first 16 measures for me, please? Not too fast. 1, ready, and... to that. Once again, look at some specific places in measure 1, scale pattern. Da, 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 da. There's a really good example where you can use that 6th position F right from the beginning. How about, can I demonstrate that for you? Let's try that together. From the scale that we are trying to keep together. And once again, measures 3 and 4 is a descending scale pattern. Da, 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 da. Let's play that together, starting on this beat. That's great. Let's go back to talking about singing it and trying to put it in tune with our drone. Let's sing this together, nice and strong. Ready? I'd like you to buzz that on the mouthpiece. Let's do that together. How about no tongue in between that? Let's focus entirely on consistent airstream and a really good sound. 1, ready. I'd like you to apply that to the instrument. Play through those 8 measures for me, please. Some really good improvement in there. Some of these notes, the G flats now, it's a 5th position note. It's always kind of a tricky one to find. Anticipate what that note is going to sound like. So let's take a quick minute. Tune your G flat for me. That's a good way just for your arm to slowly find where that slot needs to be and try to match the intonation there. Okay. Could you start here for me, this pickup to measure 9, still in the Rochu Etude. D natural there.
I was playing a D flat.
That's okay. Yep. some of that intonation has already improved and it is carried over into this next phrase. I'd like to revisit back to page 21 of Dr. Brad Edwards' Trombone Craft. The next few lines of the tuning exercise focuses on the high F in sharp fourth or raised fourth position. As you can see here, we have this first exercise that toggles back and forth between your first position F and your fourth position F. Can we try this line together, please? Nice and slow. Big breath. Ready? Once again, takes part of the D flat major scale, the second upper octave, and you see the notes here. We have F and G flat. What is the interval between those two notes?
Be a half step.
Be a half step. That's right. So once again, we want to try to keep those half steps together, and particularly in this key signature, this is a way to help us do that. I'll demonstrate. Together. 2, ready. All right, very good. In this book, it has the F's marked in sharp fourth position. I would advise you for the middle F in sixth and the high F in sharp fourth, anytime you encounter that in your music, go ahead and make some of those markings so that you remember to do that. Now, if we directly apply that to this next phrase in the Rochu etude, there are some spots that you can use these alternate positions to take advantage of good legato style. Did you notice, did I use the sharp fourth position F every single time, yes or no?
No, you didn't.
No. It makes sense to do it in measure 14, where there is an F and a G flat right next to each other, but otherwise, you can still use your first position. Do you notice what I did right here, though? This is E flat to a D.
Yes, you played the D in fourth.
Because that is also a half step. That's not part of our key signature technically, but that rule still applies, okay? Can you try, starting here, these two measures for me and make those little changes? Great, great.
It's a lot smoother, too.
It is a lot smoother. That's great. Can you try, how about these two measures? Try the sharp fourth in measure 14. A little slower. Take your time with it. Great. All right. The intonation still needs a little bit of work on there, and that's something that will just come with time. Make sure that you continue to practice passages with the tuning drone. How about, let's start back here, pick up to measure 9. We're going to sing through that once again with the drone in the background. Try to use your falsetto voice to sing up high. Here's where we'll start. Ready? Let's buzz that same passage. Once again, no tongue. We're ultimately shooting for the best smooth style and very constant air. There's our starting note. Ready? Could you tell me why are some of the benefits of mouthpiece buzzing?
You get into the habit of pushing more air through, so when it comes time to play it on the horn, you have more air backing your sound.
Right, so it definitely helps the air, and the goal is that it also helps with the accuracy of those pitches. If those two things are going together, you put that into the instrument, your chances are a lot higher that you're going to get the right notes to come out, of course, as long as you get the right slide positions as well. Let's transfer that here. We're going to play through those 8 measures with our drone in the background one more time. Ready? Take this first phrase, all these 16 measures now, and let's also focus a little bit on the overall character and the smoothness. Okay, these are legato studies, so we want them to be as smooth as we can. We want to try to incorporate natural slurs as often as we can on the trombone. That's what's going to help make the smoothness happen. Do you understand how we can find a natural slur on the instrument?
If it can fit on the same partial.
If it's on the same partial, it's going to be. Otherwise, we'll get a glissando. If we can go in or out on those positions. All of those notes are naturally slurred because I'm changing the partials without having to use a tongue. If I do, like in measure 1, notes that are on the same partial, the result without tongue is going to get us a glissando, right? Now, as a practice technique, that's not entirely a bad thing. That's a very helpful way to practice that. Can I demonstrate this for you? I'm going to take the first 8 measures. I'm going to play it gliss style with no tongue at all. And listen for where the glissandos are and where the natural slurs are. All right? Okay. Point out maybe 1 or 2 places where you heard me play some glissandos.
Definitely in between F and G flat. It's like especially the scale patterns as they go up because they all sound very smooth and connected. Mm-hmm. And right here, I don't see, it's measure 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 between the E flat and A flat. They were very smooth, and they were partial jumps. They weren't moving on the slide. They were just moving with the embouchure.
So that would be the natural slur.
Yes.
Okay. So there's always little spots in between there as we're going between different notes. You have to know the difference. Is it a natural slur, or is it a spot where I need to use the legato tongue? Can we try those 8 measures together? I'd like you to try it that way with no tongue at all, and feel those natural slurs for yourself. Ready? certain measures, like measures 7, where all of those notes can be connected. Try this measure again for me. Let me make sure that you're slurring those notes together with very good connection. Try that on your mouthpiece once. See if you can establish where those notes go. So a little lower. There. Try one more time on your mouthpiece, starting on this note. Good. Now can we try those notes on the instrument? Ready? Go. Yes, and especially these notes, E flat and A flat, being in the same position, like you said, helps it to be smoother and not so chunky if we have to play. You hear a little bit of a disconnect if I tongue all those notes. Now the goal is that we go back, we insert a legato tongue where we had the glissando, and then we get really good legato style out of that. Let's try it together. First 8 measures. 1, ready. To the next 8 measures, try to find some of the natural slurs in there. We're going to start on this pickup, once through, no tongue. Ready? Where in measure 14, where we had the F and the sharp fourth, some of that really helps make it smooth because we are creating some natural slurs there. I'm sorry. Alright, so I'd like to hear you play it from the beginning one more time with all of those things in mind, trying to focus on really good intonation, tuning everything to the tonic of D flat, playing your alternate positions as best as you can, and when it helps make the line smoother. And speaking of smoother, very good legato style, natural slurs whenever possible. Okay? Take it away.
Gotta enter the water first.
Right. Take a breath in time. Ready?
Just a little nervous sometimes.
It happens. Ready? Okay, let's start here again. So far, so good. A lot of it is better than it was from the beginning. Just remember your D natural there. Half step, neighboring position. Go ahead. Definitely a lot better. Does all that make sense to you?
It does.
And if we work on the rest of this etude, you can still continue those, use those helpful tips to your advantage. Use the alternate positions. Practicing against the drone is super helpful in my opinion. Just gives you always that anchor point, that root to base all of your notes off of. Okay? And above all, we want to try to have just the best free-flowing sound that we possibly can have. All right? Great job. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. You can check out more videos like this on Facebook. Follow me at Bluegrass Low Brass Studios. And there you can also find my contact information. Thank you very much.